Glowing Star, welcome to Mini Marvelous Stories. Glowing Star, get ready for bite-sized stories that spark your imagination, touch your heart, and leave you inspired. From thrilling adventures to heartwarming tales, each story is crafted to entertain and captivate you in just a few minutes. Movie camera, you'll find here, white heavy checkmark short, engaging storytelling, white heavy checkmark inspirational and thought-provoking tales, white heavy checkmark fun, creative, and unique narratives. Subscribe now and turn every moment into a mini marvelous experience. Sparkles open book bell. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss a story. In a small town near the river, the villagers lived a simple life, relying on farming and trade in local markets. They earned their livelihood through hard work, but they suffered because of one man, Salem, the salt merchant. He wasn't just an ordinary trader, he was greedy and deceitful, exploiting the villagers' need for salt by selling it at exorbitant prices. Indifferent to their struggles, everyone knew that he increased his profits through a cunning trick, loading his donkeys with heavy sacks of salt and deliberately making them cross the river. The water would dissolve some of the salt, reducing the load, but Salem would still sell it at full price, making double the profit. No one in the town dared to confront him, as he had influence and was backed by guards who turned a blind eye to his deceitful practices. One day, Juha arrived in the town, dressed in his simple clothes and signature turban, strolling through the market in search of food. He was well known for his sharp intelligence and humorous nature, but he could never tolerate injustice. In a corner of the market, he overheard the villagers murmuring angrily and approached them to listen. An old farmer sighed and said in frustration, "Salem has stolen from us more than we can bear. We need salt to preserve our food, but he sells it at outrageous prices and uses his dirty tricks to make even greater profits." Juha nodded thoughtfully, then smirked mischievously and said, "If Salem is skilled in tricks, let's see how he handles a trick even stronger." The next morning, Juha began closely observing Salem, watching him cross the river daily with his salt-laden donkeys. He noticed how Salem smiled smugly every time his sacks became lighter, knowing his profits remained untouched. After 2 days of careful observation, Juha decided to act. He went to the market and bought a strong donkey, but instead of loading it with salt, he filled the sacks with cotton. When Salem saw this, he burst into laughter and mocked, "What are you doing, Juha? Are you planning to sell cotton in the market? Or do you not know the difference between cotton and salt?" The villagers laughed at Salem's comment, but Juha simply smiled confidently and said, "Let's see who will laugh in the end." At sunrise, Juha and Salem set off toward the river, each leading his donkey loaded with goods. As they arrived, Salem led his donkeys into the water as usual, watching with satisfaction as his salt sacks became lighter and lighter. But Juha, knowing exactly what would happen, slowly led his donkey into the river, where the cotton began absorbing water little by little. Within moments, the cotton became extremely heavy. Juha's donkey groaned and stumbled under the enormous weight, drawing Salem's attention. Bursting into laughter, he mocked Juha once more. "Juha, do you see? Your donkey is drowning under the weight of the cotton. You fool, you've ruined your own goods." But Juha didn't respond with mockery. Instead, he gave Salem a sharp, knowing look and calmly said, "Haven't you noticed that your donkey is also struggling?" Salem's smile vanished instantly as he looked at his donkey, then at the salt sacks, and his face turned pale with horror. He had been so busy laughing at Juha that he didn't realize his own sacks were absorbing water too. But unlike cotton, salt dissolves completely. Within minutes, the sacks were completely empty. There was nothing left for him to sell, and he could no longer cheat the villagers. He waded frantically through the water, desperately trying to save his goods, but it was useless. The villagers gathered on the river bank, watching the scene unfold, and suddenly, laughter erupted. One man shouted joyfully, "Look! He has lost all his merchandise. He can't deceive us anymore." Soaked and humiliated, Salem dragged himself out of the river, while Juha approached him, placed a hand on his shoulder, and wisely said, "Greed may bring you quick profits, but in the end, it leads to loss. Maybe it's time you learn to earn your living honestly." Salem looked around, seeing the villagers' faces, but this time, their expressions were not fearful, they were victorious. Shame washed over him, and he lowered his head, speaking in a defeated voice, "I was wrong. I promise I won't cheat you again." From that day forward, life in the town changed. Salem became a fair trader, and the villagers were able to buy salt at reasonable prices. As for Juha, he left the next morning, riding away with a smile, leaving behind a lesson that would be told for generations. You may think you're the smartest when you deceive others, but tricks can backfire at any moment. Greed may make you powerful for a while, but justice and intelligence are the true strength, and so, once again, Juha proved that wit and courage are the greatest weapons against injustice. He rode off into the distance, while the villagers told his tale as one of the most remarkable stories of wisdom and fairness.